Hey, what's going on everybody? Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. This is actually the first video in a short series that's going to teach you guys Premiere Pro. You're going to learn all the basics, everything from start bringing in all your raw footage, images, audio, editing it, adding transitions, video effects, editing the audio, and then sending it out so you can wow your friends, your fans. But this is going to be a complete course that's going to get you started on that pro level. You heard it in the title, Adobe Premiere Pro. Let's jump into it.
Atletismo en Phoenix Union.
From a distance, it looks like a smooth and clean. This is Joseph Explosive with Big Shot. All right, Premiere Pro's all opened up. You'll see this page here. Up top, you got Work tab and you have Learn tab. Let's go ahead and look at the Learn tab real quick. These are some videos you can watch to learn some things in Adobe Premiere Pro. But you're watching my video right now, and this video is going to get you everything you need to know to get a nice polished video out into the world. Okay, let's go down here. New project. We're going to be working on that in a second. Open project, just like any other standard software. If you have a previous project, you can open it from there. And these are your team collaboration options. Let's go. New project page just opened up. We're going to title this Tutorial. You would name this whatever you want it to be for your project. We're going to go here to Browse. This is where we're going to save this project. And I'm going to go down here to, let's save mine in my tutorial folder. Going to click choose, and now we're going to bypass all this. These are general settings, and this is a beginner course. We don't need to worry about all that. Click OK.
What is that?
Don't freak out. Take a deep breath. I know this might be a little intimidating looking at this for the first time, or maybe you've opened this before and was like, I'll get to it later. It's okay. You guys are going to be knowing this software by the end of this course, and you're going to know exactly what you need to know or to do to make all this Greek look like English, which is the language of this video. So you would have to know English, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Wow. So anyways, this is your top navigation. Pretty much the same stuff that's in any other software. You can do a lot of things, like for instance, you can open new projects and sequences and things of that sort using this top navigation, but as well as pretty much anything you can do up there, you can do those type of things down here in these panels. Now let's talk about workspaces. See how that just lit up? This area here is a workspace. Click here, this area here is a workspace. Click here, this area is a workspace as well. And over here, this area is a workspace as well. It indicates what workspace you're in when it's highlighted in blue. Now within each workspace you have what's called panels. This is a source panel here, effects control panel, audio clip mixer panel. Down here you got the media browser. You got all these panels that are here inside of these workspaces. Now the beautiful thing about Adobe is they want you to be comfortable in whatever software you're working in. They give you full control to make it look and feel the way you want it to. So I do not like this setup here. What I like to do is I like to arrange these workspaces and these panels to look like how it did when I first started Adobe Premiere Pro. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and set this up to the best way that makes me comfortable. My suggestion would be, since you guys are in this tutorial with me, make your screen look the same way mine does. This is the way I learned it. I never changed it because it works perfectly for me, and it would make a lot of sense once we actually get into editing. So what I'm going to do right off the rip, I'm going to go ahead and click source here, this panel. I'm going to click and hold it down, and I'm going to drag it. Look what you could do with these panels. You can arrange them wherever you like in whatever workspace you like. Now it gives you an indication, as long as you're still holding it down, it will indicate in the purple where it's going to place it within that workspace. I like to put my source panel here, boom, in between the program workspace and this first workspace here. What I also like to do is take my effect controls and set that right next to the source. So within that workspace, I can go ahead and flip between the two of those. Now, if you go to these lines that are in between each workspace, you can simply adjust those over. This might not make any sense now why I'm telling you this, but it will. Trust me. Now what you also can do in Workspaces is you can close panels. I don't need this metadata panel. Close. Now I just closed that panel. If I ever want to open it again, I could go right over here and I can reopen it, and there it is. But I don't want that there. Close. I'm going to go ahead, take my project panel, move it up here. Beautiful. I'm going to close this one here. Beautiful. I'm going to leave these alone, but what I am going to do is I'm going to pull my effects panel up. That way that's visible. All right, we are looking good. I've got my project panel here. I've got my effects and my source, my program, my timeline, and I got my effects. Boy, I look like I am ready to jump into editing. But first, let's continue to take a look around and figure out what else we need to do here. All right, you see this here, it says import media. During this tutorial, I'm gonna show you guys on most things a couple different ways to do things. I'll show you the standard way, then I'll show you the Joseph explosive way, which is always the better way, at least in my opinion. All right, so the standard way of importing media is to go up here to File, and we are going to go to Import, click it, and huckily duckily do, it went directly to my folder. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bring in this movie file here. It's raw footage from my camera. It's importing, and ta-da, we have it here. All right, so I showed you the method of going up here to File. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you the explosive way of doing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this and show you the method that I do. See how it says import media start? Anywhere within this box here, I'm gonna go ahead and double click and voila. Then I'm gonna click here. You can do import, or you can simply double click the file name. It imported. All right, you know what? For this, I'm gonna show you guys a third way. The third way to import is you can use the hotkeys. You can do on a Mac, Command I, or PC, you can do Control I. And I'm simply gonna bring in audio this time. Cool beans. And then I wanna bring in also an image. So I'm gonna do the method that I typically do, which is the double click, and I wanna bring that image in. All right, so as you see, I got my video, I have my audio, and I have an image. Okay, and the final thing we're gonna learn in this video is how we create a sequence. Meaning down here in our timeline, we are gonna create a sequence which is gonna contain the media that we bring in so that we can edit it in our timeline to build our video. So we're gonna go with the standard approach, and we're gonna click this little new item icon here. Boom. And you see it's got a selection of things you can do here. We're gonna go with sequence. All right, now we have some sequence presets. Based on the footage you're using, you can go through here, or the camera you're using, and you can use some of these presets. I typically, I'm working with high definition footage, so I usually go to the HDV, 1080p, and it has your preset description here, and it has all your general information here, and you can name your sequence down here. I'm gonna name this main video. Boom shakalaka. Look at this here. Now we have a timeline. You will see this workspace has changed, and you see time code, you see all this other stuff here, but we're gonna get into that in a little bit. So what we did is we created that sequence by going through the new item, but let's look at it the explosive way. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna delete that. And the explosive way of doing things is you can take whatever media you have up here in your projects panel, you can click, drag it down to your timeline, and look, it says drop media here to create sequence. Boom. One thing I want to add here is whatever initial footage you drop down or media you drop down into the section, it's going to build your sequence based on the properties that are in that footage. Let me go ahead and open up the properties on this video footage here. Okay, as you can see, this is high definition footage, 1920 by 1080 at a 30 frame rate, 29.97 if you want to be exact. Okay, so keep that in mind, because let's say you have a lot of different media in here, and some of the media might be, for whatever reason, standard definition. If you create your sequence, drag and drop it based on that, everything's gonna be out of whack when you bring in your HD footage or whatever. So what I always do is I drag whatever footage I want to base my sequence on, which is this 1080p. Boom. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm just, for the heck of it, I'm gonna go ahead and drag this image down here. Now, remember, we already created the sequence. We are within this sequence now. So anything I do additionally isn't gonna change the sequence settings. The sequence settings are already based on this initial clip that I dropped in there. Everything else is just going to be added to that one sequence. As if I do this audio here, boom, I have the audio, I have my video, and my video's audio, and I have this picture that I stacked on top of there. One thing about the drag and drop is you notice the sequence name, there is no sequence name. It gave it the name of the original footage or media that I used. If you want to change that, I'm just going to go ahead and show you the easiest way. You're going to click on it, and then you can go ahead and name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it main sequence. Let's go with that. All right, that's gonna wrap it up today for this video. Thank you guys for joining me. Now what we went over is we covered on how to open up Premiere Pro, how to create a new project, how to go ahead and import our media, and how to create a sequence. Next, we're gonna be diving in a little bit deeper into actually getting into our tools and editing this footage that we have in our new creative sequence. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you in the next video.